prayer request. I'm supposed to remember that. So if I forget any of those 5 points while we're here. Okay, joy unspeakable, page 226. Joy unspeakable. It's all staying to sing. Once you find your page. Okay, it's all staying. We're good. Maybe we'll sing one voice. I don't know if I've been croupy today or whatever because I've been caught in the rain a bunch this week. I have found his grace is all complete. He supplieth every need. While I sit and learn at Jesus' feet, I am free, yes, free indeed. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory, full of glory, full of glory. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory. All that half has never yet been told. Second verse. I have found the pleasure I once craved. It is joy and peace within. What a wondrous blessing. I am saved from the awful gulf of sin. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory, full of glory, full of glory. Joy unspeakable and full of glory. All that has never yet been told. Last verse. I have found the joy no tongue can tell, how its waves of glory roll. It is like a great o'erflowing well springing up within my soul. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory, full of glory, full of glory. It is joy unspeakable and full of glory. All that has never yet been told. Thank you. Have a seat. I love that song. And the last verse, I found the joy no tongue can tell, how its waves of glory roll is like a great overflowing well springing up within my soul. I've got that springing up inside of me all the time. And I get frustrated with life and different things that happen just like everybody else does. But there's a joy inside of me that can't be quenched, and I'm glad for that. We learned a lot this week. Bruce passed away on Sunday. Tammy and I met with Patty on Monday night. She told us a little bit more of a story and some things that we hadn't heard, stories that we had not heard before. I remember when Bruce told us about when he got saved and some different things, but Patty said, and the joy springing up in his soul, she said when Bruce got saved in the hospital 40 years ago, close to 38, 40 years ago, and he had a spot on his lungs and he had gone to the hospital. And he got saved. A friend of his at work had been witnessing to him, and he got saved while he was in the hospital. And she said when he came home from the hospital, he's such a different person that she thought that there was something wrong. Who is this guy? She said he was effervescent and happy, and she'd never seen him that way before. It's just like overflowing joy, and she had never seen that from him before. And so, and I thought that with the song that we're singing tonight. Okay, prayer request. But Tracy's not feeling well. Hadn't been feeling well, so keep her in your prayers. Marcia has a procedure tomorrow. What was the procedure? Oral surgery tomorrow, right? Okay. And Marcia's mom is having issues, having some health issues, but they can't take her to the doctor. They're going to do a phone consultation with her doctor and with the other health problems that she has. Keep them in your prayers. Bruce's funeral is tomorrow. The service will be at 3:00. The viewing or receiving guests. I'm going to kind of read this. A gathering will be held at 3 p.m. Thursday, March 14th at Barlow Bonso Funeral Home. The family will receive friends and family 1 hour prior to the service. So you can be there by 2 o'clock or not before 2 o'clock. And due to the COVID-19, everyone must abide by the rules and regulations of the governors, and a mask is mandatory to attend. That means to come in the building, they want everyone to wear a mask. Like when I get up to speak at the funeral, I can take my mask off, but while we're congregating and walking around, they want everyone at the funeral home to wear a mask. Katrina's going to sing. She can take her mask off when she sings, but they want you to, if you don't have one, we will have some. The one will be provided at the door, okay? So they're just disposable. When you get done, you can throw them away, or you can keep them for the next time you go somewhere. Okay, and I have nothing against wearing the mask. I just haven't been wearing one, and other people have. Okay, anybody else have a prayer request? I think I checked everyone off that I was supposed to go through that if I missed it. other prayer requests? Okay, anybody with an unspoken request, something about to pray about? Okay, you got something that's overflowing joy in your life, that something really good's happened, you just want to tell everybody about it. Going once, going twice. Good deal. Camping for, yeah, that's abiding by the governor's rule, isn't it? Tremendous. Camping and fishing and a great trip with the family. Very good. And back home, everybody's home safe, right? All right, anybody else? Let's go, Lord, in prayer. Jared, will you lead us in prayer? All right, open your Bibles and look at Daniel, please. Unless somebody has testimony, we'll go right into the scriptures. Daniel, chapter 5. Okay, Daniel chapter 6. Last week we read the last verse of chapter 5 and we started in chapter 6, but we're going to Daniel chapter 6. Can anyone tell me what was our main topic last Wednesday night, Charlie? Can you tell me what it was? No, that's 2 weeks ago. That's good though. Did you remember that? Okay, Jared, you remember what it was? He's frantically searching for the first 2 verses. No, that was 3 weeks ago. Okay. Okay, so everybody slept through the message last Wednesday night. That's all right. Okay, last week we talked about Daniel, and we'll read the first couple verses in Daniel chapter 6. This tells us something more about Daniel. Remember, he interprets dreams and gets his prayers answered. There's something special about this guy. Now you remember, what was it? That was the writing on the wall. He got that, it stuck out to him, the handwriting on the wall. Who interpreted the writing on the wall, Charlie? Daniel did, very good. Nobody else could write it, could read it, could he? Because was it a language that anybody else knew? No, I think it's just something God put up there and Daniel knew what it was. Okay. We're going to read the first couple verses of Daniel chapter 6 again. We went through this last week. Maybe I'll just get my notes out from last Wednesday night and go through the whole thing again since no one remembers it, but I won't do that because I'm not a history teacher. Okay, Daniel chapter 6, verse 1. It pleased Darius, that's the king of Media Persian Empire. Okay? And it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. He's got his nations divided up, 120 men as leaders, like governors over the land. Okay, he calls them princes. Over these were 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was the first. That the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. So look at this way. So it's like a pyramid type thing. The king is in control. He's got 3 men over like 3 main counselors, and he calls them presidents, and then 120 princes and everybody has to give an account to these guys, whether it's financially or how they run the country, whatever they're doing. Okay. Then this Daniel, verse 3, then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. That's the verse we taught on last week. Excellent spirit, means something different, what radiates from you, what people get from you, just from your presence. Because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Okay, so we went through that part last week. Now verse 4. Because Daniel's going to be, he's of the 3 presidents, he's kind of lead president. And the king wants to set Daniel up beside him so that the king would still be king, but Daniel would be like prime minister, like Joseph was in Egypt. When we remember those stories, okay? We'll read verse 4 through 9, I think. Then the presidents and the princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. And then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, and the governors, and the princes, and the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Stop reading right there. Look, I want you to look up. These are politicians, okay? How many anybody in here like politicians? There's one running for House of Delegates. Most of us in this room know him really well. And I like the guy. He's a local Sissonville guy. And you ask me at the church, I'll tell you who he is. And I like the guy really well. I think he'll do. I think he's already House of Delegates. And I think he's doing a great job. And he believes the way we do socially, spiritually, the whole works. First, Second Amendment, the whole works. Okay, so there's very few that are good politicians, but these people here, they're all politicians, and they're so jealous because Daniel has something that they don't have. Daniel has the king's ear. Okay, now these people were in authority over 120 over millions of people, or 3 men over the 120, which are over millions of people, and these men have all kinds of authority given to them, and that they're responsible for, accountable for. But they look at Daniel and think he's going to get promoted over us. They get jealous over this fact that Daniel, who's different, he has a spirit about him, something different about him, but the king wants to promote him over the presidents. So they go to the king and they said, all the presidents, first word, verse 7, all the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, and stop reading right there. He said, they come to the king and they say, everybody's in agreement with this. We want to make a law that no one can ask of any man or God any petition or request for 30 days. They only did that because they knew what Daniel was going to do. They knew that Daniel, no matter what else happens, 3 times a day, he's going to go to his room, he's going to pray, right? I mean, they know who he is, they know what he does, okay? Now, the only reason they do it is because they're jealous of him, okay? Now, okay. So the king signs the decree. And the law of the Medes and Persians was, once they make a decree, they can't go back and change it. Once they make something a law, they can't go back and change it. Our Congress can make a law, change their mind, go back and make another law. Okay? Or our president can sign a law and then or veto a law, whatever he wants to do, and go back and change it. And that's it. Come back and we're going to change this, what we did last. This happens in our state legislature all the time. It seems like every year they come up with something and they make a law. And it usually takes about 6 months for the state Supreme Court to come back and say, you guys did this illegally. You violated this law when you made this law. That's what Charles Roach said the mining laws were. This law violated this law all the time. Okay, so he said you violated this law, so you got to change it. Okay, you violated our state constitution. Okay. So the king signed the law. And they said, okay, they caught Daniel praying. And they knew what he would do. Okay? Let's go read on. Okay? Verse 8, now the king established the decree and signed the writing that it would be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. That means they can't go back and change it. And the king doesn't want to, he wants to change it after he finds out what happened. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went to his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Because this is something Daniel does every single day. This is something every Christian should do. Whether it's 3 times a day, at least once a day, every Christian ought to have a prayer time that they go. And Daniel was so consistent about it, they knew that they could make a law against what he was going to do. Just knew that he was going to do it anyway. Okay. And these men assembled, found Daniel praying and making a supplication before his God, and then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man should ask petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, should be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, this thing is true, according to the law of Medes and Persia, which also or not, I can't change it. But he doesn't know that Daniel is the one that they're going to make the accusation against. Then I answered they and said before the king that Daniel, capitalized, that Daniel, that guy over there, which is one of the children of the captivity of Judah. We don't like those Jews anyway, they said. Regardeth not thee. That means he didn't listen to you, king. He's rebelling against you, O king, nor the decree which thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Look here. Do you think there's any laws ever made that are against this group of people over here, or against this group of people over here? Is it? Right? Is it people that are doing things that are okay? I use this as an illustration. How many of you got cell phones? Everybody in this room's got a cell phone, right? Anybody ever talk on your phone when you were driving the car? Via Bluetooth now, right? Right now it's just push the button on the dashboard, and it's on the radio, right? But before we had the Bluetooth, did you hold up and do like this? Did anyone do like this before they made it a law that you couldn't do like this? Okay. Anybody text and drive before they made a law you couldn't text and drive? Okay. A friend of mine was riding with his wife. She was driving, she was texting, and he said, "Put your phone down, put your phone down, put your phone down." And she wouldn't do it. She said, it went ding again. She grabbed it and wrecked. Okay. Now the wreck wasn't actually technically their fault. The police report showed that somebody else was in the wrong. But he said if she hadn't been texting at the time, they wouldn't have had to. She could have avoided the accident. Okay. Man looks at somebody doing something and says, "I'm gonna make a law against that." Anything wrong with that? Anything wrong with making a law against something? Nothing wrong with that, is it? Unless it's somebody who's doing something that's right. Okay? If someone's doing right, and everyone's jealous of them for doing what's right, then for them to make a law against it is stupid, right? Anybody agree to that? Okay? There was a pastor, I want to say in Georgia, that got thrown in jail a couple weeks ago. He had to stay for a long time, had to pay a fine, but he got thrown in jail a couple weeks ago because he had church service on Sunday morning, and they didn't. It was on. I mean, they live streamed their services like we do, and so the people were standing too close together, and he got in trouble for it. There's other churches where the deputies were assigned to go in the parking lot of the churches and write down the license plate numbers of all the cars in the parking lot so they can issue them a $500 summons for going to church inside the building being too close together. Okay? I don't know. I think it's kind of get carried away with stuff. But if you have somebody that's sick, then you think, okay, or if you have an elderly, Kathy, your mom lives with you, and you say, okay, we social distance 6 weeks from everybody else. Okay. But why? Because you're not worried about getting sick, but you don't want to take something home to your mom. We understand that. Okay. In this situation, there was only one person in mind when the law was written. Only the king didn't know that the law was written for him. Did not know that the law was written for Daniel. So when they brought the accusation against Daniel, the king's like, I couldn't change that law. I can't change that law now if I want to. The law of Medes and Persians altereth not. I cannot change that law if I wanted to. And if there's one person he would want to change that law for, it would be Daniel. Okay? Okay, verse 14. We'll read on. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself. He's not mad at the accusers, not mad at anybody else. He's upset with himself because he signed that law. Was sore displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. He did everything in his power to get Daniel out of this. Anybody else? Anybody ever getting in trouble and the person over you try to get you out of trouble? It's happened to me. I don't know. It's happened to me. It happened to me before. I remember one of our vendors called my boss one time. This was like 15 years ago. Called my boss, David Lee, and I just happened to be walking into David's office at the time. And I heard him, he's on the phone, he said, if you're calling me to complain about John being too aggressive, don't say another word about me being an aggressive salesperson or whatever, because I was going out and getting business here. And the vendor was complaining about something I'd done. And if you're calling me to complain about him, he defended me a lot. Okay? My boss defended me a lot. Why? We're friends. Okay? And if I did something that was wrong, he'd try to get me out of it if possible. But I mean, there was times, Jared, one time we were on vacation and I got a call on a Friday night. I think it's a Friday night. And we ended our vacation. We're at Hilton Head. We ended vacation early because I got a call on Friday he called me from work and said, "You messed up. This has to be fixed before Monday." So we came home a day or so early because there was no fixing it. Okay, and he didn't do anything. He wouldn't undo what I had done, but if there's something he could get me out of, he was good about doing that. The king looked at Daniel and said, "He's the greatest guy I know. He's got something about him. He's the only one who interprets dreams and interpreted the writing on the wall. I'm king because I think I'm king because he's part of this situation here. He looks at Daniel, that excellent spirit Daniel has, and says, I got to get him out of this, but he can't. There's absolutely nothing he can do. So let's read on the story. Verse 15. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. The king says, I know that. I can't change the law. Okay? Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest, thy God, he's confident in this now. At this point he is. Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Daniel, the king Darius looks at Daniel and says, I'm sure God will get you through this. We're going to stick you down in the den. And when you read it later, it sounds like they lower them down in to a pit where the lions are. It's not a lion's den that's an empty den. It's a den of lions. That means the lions are down there waiting on him, licking their chops. Here he comes. Okay? We're getting fed today. Here comes this Hebrew guy. Okay? So they lower him down in, and the king says, Thy God is able to deliver thee. I'm sure of it. Okay? Let's read on. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. The king sealed it with his own signet to make sure no one was going to get him out during the night. And with the signet of his lords, that means everyone else is standing around. That's these other presidents and princes. They wanted to see this happen. Okay? That the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So the king was up all night, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. They wouldn't let anybody come in and play music for him so he could rest or anything, couldn't relax. So he paced all night, back and forth, fasting, worried about Daniel. Then the king rose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when the king came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? I wonder how long Daniel waited. Because Daniel's response is, Oh, king, live forever. Because the king's up there hauling down at Daniel down in the pit there with the lions. And is that God able? Before he put him in, he said, Your God's able. I know he can do it. But then he worried all night whether he could. Okay? The king worried about Daniel. Because there's something special about that guy. And Daniel and the king worried about it. So in the morning he said, Is he able? Was your God able to deliver you? And Daniel looked up and said, Oh, king, live forever. So they hauled Daniel up out of there. Okay? Let's read a couple more verses. Okay? My God has sent his angel and shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, I have done no hurt. He said, I didn't do you any harm. I didn't violate any of God's principles in anything I did, and you know it. The king knew it too. Okay? Then was king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no matter of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. Okay? Daniel was faithful in believing God and serving God, faithful to God. And that's always a testimony for Darius. Okay? Verse 24. I kind of like this part. I like all this story. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which they accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them and their children and their wives, and the lions have mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces wherever they came at the bottom of the den. Okay? So they took these men that made the accusations against Daniel, and they threw them down in the pit with the lions, and they took them and their wives and their children and threw them all down there and let the lions maul them, had mastery of them. Okay. That's the story. I like the story. Anybody like that story? Anyone ever have to take a stand for something? You ever take a stand for something for doing right? Okay? Or pray when you got to pray. Okay? That's what Daniel was doing. Now, what if the law says you're supposed to do something else? Okay, going back to math class. Okay? Here's a question for math class when you were in school. If there's something that's shaped like this, what is that? Like if you have a number over here and a number over here, and you got this pointed, then this number is what? Greater than this one. If the sign's like this one's greater than this one, right? So I look at things a lot of times and I think, which is greater of the two? Okay? You ever get the question, a quandary in your mind, or which one I'm supposed to do? What is the right thing to do? What's the best thing to do? Sometimes we don't have to choose between right and wrong. We have to choose between good, better, or best. Or y'all with me on that? We got to say, am I supposed to do this or am I supposed to do this? And sometimes we make the right choices, sometimes we don't. but a lot of times our answer to which one's greater of the two comes down to our own, how we view things, our own personal opinion of stuff. Now, sometimes we find in scriptures, often we find in scriptures, or we base what's greater than, based on scriptures, we can answer most of these questions. Okay, which is greater of the two? If God's word is on one side and your emotions are on the other, which one is greater? Which one's most powerful? God's word or emotions? The presidents and the princes made all their decisions based on emotions rather than God's word. Daniel was living by something, by God's word, nothing changed, okay? By his principles that he lived by, okay? But when we have to make a decision, do you ever make a decision because when you know this is the right thing to do, but your emotions are telling you to do this thing? You ever do that? I've done that. Okay, is anybody else? Am I the only one that's done this? Okay. I think I asked rhetorical questions. I think someone's going to answer. I'm the only one. Okay, never mind. No one else has any emotions. Okay. If you have to decide between the laws of God and the laws of man, which one's greater? Laws of God, right? Laws of God is greater than laws of man. What if they contradict? Which one do you follow? Which one? Okay, Sometimes the laws or governance of man is higher than the governance or the laws of God. Okay, a simple illustration was wearing the masks. Okay, tomorrow at the funeral home. The funeral home requires us to wear the masks. Now you can say, I ain't wearing a mask in there, you can't make me. Okay, then you can stand outside and talk to everybody as they come in, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. Because, and I know, okay, probably 15 years ago, I went up to, I was at the hospital making a visit for somebody from church, and someone said, you got a pass. And I said, no. They knew me. They said, you're clergy, you need to go down, sit in this class for 30 minutes and listen, you read what they tell you to do, and then you get a pass, which the biggest thing is you don't have to pay for parking, and you can get in the ICU and everything else. You can get in about every area of the hospital just flashing a little badge. You see AMC, you got the little badge. Okay, so I got that. The pastor that was telling us all the rules of the CAMC, what you got to do, what you can do, what you can't do. He said he named a pastor. That's when he told me the story. I think I knew exactly who it was. He said the guy came in and he went in to visit somebody in this room. This is right after the HIPAA laws were passed, which has a lot to do with medical laws. He said he went in to visit this person, which was a church member, and while he was there, he just started going door to door, room to room in the hospital. Okay. And someone stopped him and said, you can't do that. It's a violation of the HIPAA laws to go from, I mean, if I go in and Marlon's in this bed in this room and I can speak to the other person in this room, but I'm not supposed to leave that room and go to the next room over and the next room over and the next room over. Because you might be carrying disease from one place to another. And some of the hospitals don't clean anything anyway, so the disease is spread quickly. Okay, I shouldn't say that. They do a great job cleaning, especially now. Okay. But he said, this one guy said, this law supersedes all your laws. What could that preacher there walk in the emergency room, back where they're putting someone's leg back together? No. Could he walk in the operating room? No. But he felt like he had this superseded all laws. He could do anything he wanted, right? He couldn't. He kind of got in trouble. Okay. Okay. But God's laws always are greater than man's laws. But if it's within man's laws, and you think, you can't show me that in the Bible, okay? But if man's law says you got to do this, you got to abide by this law. Okay, can you find a scripture in the Bible that says the speed limit should be 40? It's 40 down to here. You shouldn't go over 40. Is there anything, Charles? Is there anything that says that? What about 7? Is there a speed limit 70 on the interstate written in Hebrew? Okay? It's not there, is it? Okay? Even in those laws that you don't want to read from um, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, those this and this and this, those line upon line that you can't keep up with sometimes. There's nothing in there about speed limit being 70, right? But the speed limit posted is 70. You're not supposed to exceed it. Okay? All right. Which is greater? This is a greater than thing. This is something that you have people like Daniel, and you guys in here tonight, and some of you listen from home. So I know some of you told Tammy you're going to be listening tonight. You have a faithful testimony of doing the right thing all the time. That is far greater than any talent that somebody else has. That is far greater than some experiences that other people have. That is far greater than than emotions or gifts or anything else. One of the greatest things you can ever have and the greater sign thing that's over here is a faithful testimony. And Daniel had that. He had gifts and talents that we don't have. Can anybody tell me my dreams from last night? Yeah, Brother John, it's an F-250. You dreamed about one. Okay, that's not. The faithful testimony Daniel has, the most important thing he had. Okay, because that's that spirit that the king saw. Okay, yeah. The last part of this is a judgment on his accusers. Everybody ever been falsely accused? Anybody? I'm the only one. Again, you ever been falsely accused of something? All right. Okay. What Daniel do to his accusers? Charlie, what Daniel do to his accusers? Nothing. Yeah, the king tossed him in the fire. I mean, with the lion. All right, with the lions. Right. What did Jesus say about his accusers? Father, forgive them; they know not what they do. And a lot of times, how many you ever get your accusers you get mad at? I do. Okay, I've almost lost my testimony a couple times over false accusations. Okay, or people making accusations that could appear to be true but they weren't true, and just people just saying things that made me mad. Okay. Father, forgive them; they know not what they do. A lot of people that make accusations or say something like these presidents or these princes that made the accusation against Daniel, they knew what they were doing. They were trying to get Daniel in trouble, right? It cost them and their wives and their children their lives. Let them accuse. Okay? There's been Christians that have been, in our terms, persecuted in the United States because for believing right or doing the right thing. There are accusations made against them. Let the people make their accusations. In the long run, the truth always comes out. Okay? Illustration. This guy's been in the news for the last couple of weeks. He was in the news about 2 years ago, got in trouble, has been accusations made against him, and now has been cleared of everything. Every accusation was made against him about 2 years ago. He is cleared. He has been cleared, completely cleared, okay, of all accusations that were made against him. When accusations are made, if we can learn to forgive, and that's one of the hardest things in the world to do, if we can learn to forgive and just wait, and wait on God, because He always, to me, okay, John, things don't always come out on top. John the Baptist had his head cut off, and Hebrews chapter 11, people slain by a sword, Christians, okay. But the truth is, if the accusations are made, just step back and wait. If you have to defend yourself, defend yourself. But the truth is, Daniel didn't have to say anything. His testimony said everything to his king. At work, there's been people that have made accusations before, different things, different places that I've worked through the years. And people have said stuff, and I said, man, just wait. Okay? When we were at First Baptist Church in Hammond one time, there was people with protest signs walking out in front of our church. Okay? It's pastor school. There was pastors from all over the country that come to Indiana to hear Brother Hollis teach them how to be better pastors. And there were protesters walking around outside protesting the church. And one of our friends from college, and preacher boys get upset when defending their preacher, and one of them was running towards one of the protester signs was going to jerk that sign out and go tackle the guy and take the sign out of his hand. And he was stopped by one of our other brothers, okay? Another preacher boy stopped him, said, "Don't do it. They want you to respond." Okay? The news people are there. They want you to respond. They'll make accusations, and that's when people make accusations by the house. They're making accusations because they want a response. All we got to do is just wait, and everything will be cleared. And it was cleared. Everything was perfect. Okay? So we're told to we're told to forgive. Like Jesus said, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." You know, that's one of the only scriptures where these disciples turned to Jesus and said, "Increase our faith," because when they're told to forgive, I mean, it's easy. You can have all kinds of faith when you walk on water or cast out demons. Someone attacks you, it's hard to have that much faith to say, "I'm going to forgive them." Okay? And it's one of the times where they said, "Increase our faith. We need more faith for this." Okay. Any questions? Comments? Okay. No one in here has ever had anything said against them, done anything bad. I'm the only one that's ever been defended by your boss. Okay. You understand that? Okay. Anybody else? Comments? Questions? Jared, you got anything? Marlon, you got questions, comments? Kathy? Yeah, you're supposed to abide by the laws of the land. Yes, you are. That means you're supposed to abide by the speed limit signs. Okay? Yeah, there is. Okay? And as much as Scripture says, "As much as life in you live peaceably with all men," as much as I can, I live peaceably with the speed limit laws. Okay? And I try to, honestly, goodness, I try to keep it. I got so much to do. Okay? All right, well, I know where some of them set on a regular basis. And I try not to exceed or not get run over. Like speed limit 70, there's certain places I drive, Interstate 81 over Virginia. If you drive 70, you better make sure you're on the berm, okay? Okay. Or if you're, behind the trucks going up a steep hill, because if you're like 70 or less, everyone else is going, this lane's 85 and these people are 95, and if you get okay, you just creep up there just to merge in, because I saw someone the other day try to merge in at 35. I'm like, oh man, it's going to happen. I knew it was going to. I knew they were going to get hit, but it didn't. Okay, so sometimes you just you go along with the crowd, which is not right, not the right thing to do. You just don't get a ticket that way. You don't cause an accident. All right, anything else? That's what you're right. You're supposed to abide by the laws of the land. That means you pay your taxes. Okay. A lot of people try to cheat on their taxes and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to. Okay. I think, well, it's a debt, well, pay it, right? I mean, so I look at it as a debt, like a house payment, a car payment, paying your debt. Some people, I'll try to cheat on this. No, I don't do that. Okay. Other questions? Any specific law you were thinking of that you abide by the laws you question? Okay. I don't know. That's where you take all the grandkids. Take all the grandkids and even count 6 for the kid that's still in the stroller. All right. So Kathy's question: why can you only count 6 child a day? Because some people would fish there and never leave, right? They follow the truck around with a net and get them all out. Okay. Good question. Good comment. Charlie, questions, comments? Any laws you think supersedes God's laws? Some are ridiculous. Hey, sorry, not say ridiculous. Okay. Okay. Lon's been drinking the hand sanitizer. All right, let's pray for this. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. I pray you help us be the Christians we ought to be. Help us set an example. Have the excellent spirit like Daniel had. But also when we're attacked or something, accusations made against us, help us know how to wait it out, how to handle, how to respond in the right way. Forgive us where we come short, Lord. Help us be the Christians that we ought to be. In His name we ask. Amen. A couple years ago, I'll tell you a story. This is still on, so I know this is going to go right out. So a couple years ago, one of our church members came up to me and was telling me about a verbal assault. Okay, so when it said something to his kids and someone was talking about him, it was really bad. And I was like, as pastor, I said, don't respond. Okay, just try not to respond. He said, I did last night. He had band-aids on his hand. We beat the guy up. And I thought, okay, you already did it. I'm glad you did it. But my first response is try not to respond. Try not to respond. Be the bigger man, whatever. And he said, I tried. And he did. And I was like, good. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you. My first response was saying, don't. Okay. But after he did, I mean, he's telling me before he told me the story, what happened, he'd already responded and took care of the matter. Okay. And I thought, good. I'm glad you did. Okay. Now, yeah, it's like, okay, it's not like you get by with it, but you did the right thing. Okay. You're dismissed. Thank you very much.